You're about to dive into a text that is thick and hard to understand at times by Certeau, and I want to take just a quick minute and sort of summarize two of his main points, lest you quit reading early on and don't take away what he's really trying to get at here. We're going to use this throughout the rest of the semester if you're in the prison class to unpack how corrections work and really how power works in general. But in short, Certeau is simply describing two different techniques of exercising power. A strategy is what you would come up with if you had all of the information available and you had possession of a piece of land. And you might think of this road in front of you as one good example. If you could scout it and you knew that maybe there was a swamp where the tactical shortcut arrow is right now, you would be inclined to build a road that was flat, that was in the most stable spaces, where less wildlife came and went. You would want a safe, secure route. However, if you weren't welcome on that land or you had to quickly traverse a space to not be noticed, you may decide instead on a tactical shortcut. So these are just the two ways to think about strategies and tactics. Strategies always operate from a position of already having access to power systems, whereas tactical advantages or tactical plans are designed around this idea of not having access to much power. Now, you can think of the two main points of strategies and tactics as space and time. Strategies are focused on space, and you can think of owning a piece of dirt or owning a city and coming up with strategies to manage the population, to manage waste and disposal, to manage the delivery of new goods, to manage where things can be sold in zoning. All of these would be strategies that are based on knowledge that you already have, and you have the ability to control the space that you are talking about. You can erect walls in certain spots to keep people out. This is what Foucault's panopticism was really all about, was this idea of when power becomes established, it becomes strategic, because once you have access to power, you get to make rules that govern the dictation of space. Because of this, you naturally minimize the importance of time, because once a wall is erected, if it's erected in the right way, you can imagine that it is always effective. So the idea, once you have power, is to use strategies to basically keep people from using time to manipulate the system and to gain power where you don't want them to have it. Now, you can think about this on the flip side as tactics emphasizing time. And as for example, prisoner in a prison cell, you don't typically have access to much power at all, but you can think of many examples of times where you have probably heard of prisoners doing things that they can only do by waiting for a certain amount of time. Prisoners have in the past used dental floss to saw through steel bars simply by taking so much time that nobody would have thought it was possible. The Shawshank Redemption is a good example of where Certeau ends, and what these two pictures at the bottom are from. And in The Shawshank Redemption, we get a similar image of this, where the prison operates on the strategies of space and keeping individuals compartmentalized and put where they belong and not allowing them to roam. And Andy Dufresne uses this technology of time and takes advantage of having plenty of it and eventually digs a hole with a small rock hammer, a task that seems impossible. I want to end with a few examples that are more boots on the ground that hopefully will bring this idea home a little bit more. This first clip is from the original version of the 1974 movie The Longest Yard, and you can see in it that the guards have actually conspired against the inmates to fix the game, and so the inmates decide to flip the script, and instead of throwing a pass, they attack the guard.
Ought to work again, right? All right. One more time. On two. Ready?
And in this moment, you note that from a strategy, which is having all of the space mapped out, the guards have superior strength, they have all of the referees on their side. The inmates utilize a tactic of time. They take advantage and flip the script and let everybody blitz and then again pull the same trick. Now, to put this a little more boots on the ground, I want to show you another clip from some of my friends in Philadelphia, and think about how oftentimes the same theory is applicable to how power plays out in real time. You can think of the police in any city as having access to superior institution and systems of power. Numbers, firepower, horsepower, they can go faster than little dirt bikes. And yet, we can see in this example one way that power can be upset by tactics. The police have strategized that they will manage a space a certain way, they will all get together when something like this happens, they will chase down the perpetrators, and yet the streets themselves and the sidewalks are built such that these dirt bikers are simply playing with time. They can effectively go around in circles until the police decide that they are not able to continue this chase anymore because it's pointless. And as you'll see in just a second here, the tactic is effective in this case, and the police actually give up and drive away. See ya.